All right. So another lesson in the English language is that recommendations are not rules. They're not law. And they are based upon the intention of the writer or the verbalizer. Okay? So let me give you an example. So in my group, people ask me, well, how much should I drink? How much should I take of the jelly juice? And I'm just like, you know, they've given me a little background, like they have a lot of predispositions. Like I know something about you guys. I don't know a lot about you guys, but I know something about you guys. So I don't like making recommendations, but I'll do a suggestion like, well, if you are really full of cancer, disease, and chronic illness, and you have a low threshold for pain, well, start off slow. Because you've told me already what your situation is. You've told me already that you don't want to have a major, healing process. And the fact that you have to ask somebody for a recommendation, you're looking for confirmation to do just a little bit. So I'm going to give you a recommendation based upon what you're telling me. So when you go to informational / advertising website like WebMD or some of these holistic allopathic marketing firms that have a product, they'll give you, or even, the government websites, they'll give you a recommendation based upon what you are looking to confirm. You don't want to feel pain. You don't want to feel any kind of healing process, because that's what pain is healing. You don't want to feel anything. Some of you want to be totally anesthetized, that you just want to be able to live, but only for a certain amount of time, and then you're willing to die. So what do? They give you a recommended daily allowance of certain vitamins and minerals and salt and sugar and all that stuff. And it's a recommendation. It's not rule. It's not law. Just like when I recommend you guys based on what you're telling me, as far as how much jelly juice, there's no rule, no law. You could have up to a gallon a day if you want, if you can handle the healing process, or you can have as little as like 2 cups a day or 1 teaspoon. And then that's all relative to your expectation, what you want to get out of the J juice and all of that. So recommendations are not rules, or not laws, or not anything that you have to abide by. But what people get so confused with is when they read these informational websites from the government, they think it's like a law. They think it's like a universal rule that you cannot, diverge from. You can't not listen to what they're saying. You have to have only 1 teaspoon a day of salt, and that's it. I mean, that's what people are assuming when they read recommended daily allowances, especially from the American Heart Association. They're like, oh yeah, they always say you can't have, 1 or 2 teaspoons, a day based upon a 2,000 calorie diet. I'm like, that's a recommendation. It's not a rule or a law. A rule or a law is like, well, a rule is based upon, a household and their rules, but it doesn't mean it's law. Like I have rules in my house. You can't bring boys over and sleep in the room unless you're married to them, type of thing, right? But that's not a law, but that's my rules of the house. But laws are like, you have to stop at a stop sign because you might die if you don't. That's a law. There are laws that you can't kill. There are laws that you can't go and steal somebody's property. Those are laws those are universal. There's no perception. There's no arguing. There's no, any kind of diversion from that. You don't steal and you don't run a stop sign. Okay? And then there's recommendations, just like with DeWine and this whole thing with the masks. He's making recommendations. Wear a mask. Is that a rule? Is that a law? No. It's a recommendation. So do what the hell you want. Recommendations are not laws, and they're not even a rule. Recommendations are recommendations. So RDA tells you already, recommendation to daily allowance. Recommended daily allowance is based upon the intention of the industry to, first of all, keep you anesthetized because you don't want to feel pain. And second, hey, well, if you don't want to feel pain, we'll just keep you on a string of drugs so you stay anesthetized for the rest of your life. And so that's how you know when the amount of salt is not poisonous, because salt is not deadly. Salt is not a drug. It's not a controlled substance. There is no universal law that you can only have this much salt per day. But we have people out there that are living from their perceptions as if they're rules and if they're facts, and they're not. They're just their stupid opinions because they have no idea how to differentiate and understand the English language. And they don't understand the difference between rules, laws, and recommendations, just like they don't understand the difference between perception, truth, and fact. So many of you live by your perceptions as if they're facts, and then you're passed along ignorance. So that's why I unfollow a lot of you, because you are like, oh my God, the chemtrails are going to kill us. No, what's killing you is the fact that you guys are practicing pretty horrific chemistry, whatever. You guys are bringing in the wrong chemistry in your body. You're not wanting to feel pain, and you think everything out is out to get you. So, so you have to understand that, your perception is not fact. Your truth, the truthers, they're all perceptors. Truthers is just a perception. Okay? Fact is, there is a cloud in the sky. That's a fact. You are here on earth. That's a fact. Now, what you think that cloud is a perception. It's not a truth, or it's not a fact. It's your little truth, and you may share that truth with somebody else, but it ain't a fact that those clouds are deadly. Because let me tell you, somebody else will be like, no, they're not. And just like me, no, they're not. So then it's not a fact. So this is where you have to understand the difference between these words and understand what words and definitions. If you don't look up words and definitions, then you'll be living by ignorance for the rest of your life. Bye.